taking the next step beyond awareness, and even you maybe connected them to farmers or beyond that. If we do look at, I almost hesitate to say physical health, Pran, but I'm trying to do my best. If we look at physical health from someone who's a GI specialist, where do you see some of the challenges in everyday life, and where do you see some of the greatest opportunities for people to increase their health?
Yeah, sure. I think it all comes down to nutrients. End of the day, we've got soils that are stripped of nutrients. The microbiome also originates in the soil. We've got soils that are stripped of the microbiome because of pesticide and fertilizer use. So really, it's about finding food grown in good soil. Who does that? A lot of the regenerative farming practices are brilliant because that mode of farming just comes up with a more diverse microbiome, more diverse nutrient profile of these foods, whether it's meat, vegetables, grains, or pulses. It's really about that. It's just about connection to the people that are growing their food, who themselves are connected with the process. It's all a process of connection as opposed to disconnection, which I believe is sort of aimlessly wandering into Coles and buying whatever you can to feed your family for the night. There's a level of connection when you can plan things in advance, and mate, that's what it ultimately comes down to. It does require a little bit of effort, and probably it does increase the costs as well. Okay, these things aren't cheap, but that's what it involves. And one of the barriers is, as wealth disparity rises due to this wealth accumulation that I've spoken about, due to the monetary policy, you've got a very sad situation that people can no longer afford nutritious food. It's out of the hands of people. Not only can they not afford the nutritious food that regenerative farmers or farmers sell, but even some of the nutritious foods such as meat and eggs and some of the quality vegetables that are being taken out of the buying power, purchasing power of the population. And that is modern monetary policy, which in itself, as I've said this a few times, is the bondage that keeps us strapped in the cave or chained in the cave.
Often I'll say to my clients here, when you talk about buying nutritious food and, there's a upfront cost involved. And I'll say, yeah, but in the long run, the decrease in medical bills, you'll come out cash flow positive as a result of your investments up now. But even to say that is a luxurious statement. Do you know what I mean? If you're struggling to get through the week, your paycheck to paycheck, even to say that is luxurious statement, which is the influence of socioeconomic factors on health and long-term health.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What I was just about to say, did you ever hear? So a few years ago, quite a few years ago, before I had kids, myself, a clinical nutritionist and a dentist, we started the Western Price Foundation here in Hong Kong. We opened the chapter. We ran that for about 18 months until the world, caught up to us and we felt like we got too busy. Are there any Western Price Foundation chapters in Sydney where you are? Have you read that book? Maybe that's the first question. Have you read Nutrition and Physical Degeneration?
Yeah, I've read bits and pieces of it. I agree with a lot.
It's beautiful. I kiss that book every day.
I know there are a lot of people that follow Western Price. I'm not sure if there's an institution per se. I'm sorry there, Andrew.
Yeah. Because you'd be a great resource along the nature of Western Price Foundation. And then another one I was going to ask you, have you ever heard of Joel Salatin? He's a farmer, Polyface Farms.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm connected with them on social media.
Mate, you and him in the same room would just be the best conversation. Like this guy, he's a fantastic orator. And he's written a great book called Folks, This Just Ain't Normal. And basically, Pran, everything that you're saying, but he's a farmer, but he calls himself, and he encourages all farmers to view themselves as custodians of the land. And it's a beautiful philosophy behind being a farmer. I always remember speaking to my dad, and my dad grew up in rural Australia. And he said the farmers were the people that you looked up to. You know what I mean? They'd come into town, and the people of the small town where my dad grew up, which was a big rural area, would that guy's the farmer. But unfortunately, that's changing now. We live in a situation where a lot of the kids who grow up on farms go to boarding school, and then when their parents say, hey, you're going to come back and run the farm, they're like, no, I want to take a job in the city, mum, dad, is so much easier.
That's right.
So that
That's right.
that concept of the farmer is actually changing.
Very much so, mate. These guys used to be looked at as heroes. Now they're looked at as climate change criminals, you know, and what a horrible system of engineering that we've taught the population that farming is somehow detrimental to the planet when you think of all the other hideous activities that goes on. So there is a rural urban divide. Okay, those that have gone to these urban areas and metropolitan areas, they are divided from that rural environment, but yet that is the breadbasket. These rural environments are the breadbasket, literally, to feed these populations. But these populations within these urban areas are divided from the rural area. They have no idea what is going on. They think food just appears on the shelf at supermarkets. So that is a disconnection. And so what is disease but a tale of disconnection, right? Mental, spiritual, physical, everything. So it's on the person. It's back again to free will. Well, if you want to exercise free will, you can go down that pathway and really optimize this avatar that we're inhabiting.